Okay, everybody, we're back. We got Ben Scott.
Ben,
versus Scott.
even though you lost the die roll, I think I'm still gonna go second. I think it's better for me to go second.
Okay.
Down a little bit. So it's going to be Joe Vega versus Ben Scott, and we got a guest host in the
What
booth
die
with us.
from two?
We got Shadow. How's it going, Shadow?
Hello, how's it going?
How's it feel trouncing me?
You have red, Billy Club.
Normal.
Oh, okay. It's just a Wednesday for you.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
Oh.
no. I mean, it was tough. We played that one game for.
Just need to wait.
40 some odd minutes. Ugh. All right. Okay. It was definitely a good matchup. I
Hey Ben,
didn't
thanks
think
for
I was going to
coming
win,
on and
but
commentating there at the last minute. I was having some audio issues, and
right.
whenever I heard
so I'm
you, I
gonna
was
go ahead
like,
and
"Oh,
start
good."
it, and then we could just listen.
Yeah,
to
sorry, I was a bit late myself.
No, it's okay.
All right,
It's East
gentlemen.
Coast time, so we're not at our usual. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And
All right,
so,
gentlemen.
like,
Whenever you're ready, go ahead and go.
all right.
Just having a nice conversation.
I'm sorry.
You ruined it.
Just call it when you guys are starting, and you guys can continue the conversation whenever.
Okay, you gonna time it, Chris?
Yeah, just call it when you're starting, and I'll start the timer.
Okay, we'll start now. You a conversation now. I'll let you know.
All right. So
Can you see my play area?
Yeah, that's all I need. That's all I need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
all right. So
I'm sorry, it's a bit crap. I'll roll.
No, it's
Joe's
okay, man.
going second.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Fast.
Those are
Y'all
some
like
masks.
with those.
Hold on, just a second, Chris.
All right. Ben,
Really
where's your
loud.
cards?
They're over here. They're
Oh,
over that
okay,
way.
because the jankiest setup ever.
Yeah, and I have my dice laid here. If you ever need to see my dice counts, you can just ask me and I'll show you.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Okay, that was good. I will buy a. Do I want to go fast or do I want to go slow?
Ben has the weirdest setup, and it's gonna be really
Oh.
weird.
I'll buy a Jubilee.
All right.
Now your
So
turn.
Ben's going with his Team B, and that's his Jubilee interesting combo.
It's Ring of Winter, a dragon team.
Yeah, with Jubilee.
Yeah, it's a pretty nasty team. He can get, and the Jubilee Professor X combo gives him a bunch of sidekicks, so they can just burst through.
Wow. That's cool, I guess.
Joe got a bunch of sidekicks, but in this matchup, sidekicks.
You have two energy fixes.
Yeah.
Oh, you have an
Both
energy
masks,
fixer,
so-
Team?
Yeah, we both have Billy Club. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's actually good. So, field sidekick, spin both of these down, and purchase Billy Club.
Okay. I'll make a.
I mean, Billy Club is just a fallback purchase for him.
Your turn.
But I mean, it's at least he got something on a really nasty turn.
Yeah, and I mean, with other things, the things that Ben has, it actually makes a lot of sense to have that, and could help him in the future. And Billy Club's just a good purchase.
Yeah.
Spin this to a mask.
The problem with Billy Club is it's 50% removal.
Yeah,
I do.
Even when you play it, if you're not really benefiting from getting an action used, you're still only half the time doing anything productive with it. So half the time it gives you energy, and then a quarter of the time it removes something.
Yeah, and then your opponent can possibly roll it the next turn if they did their bag management correctly.
Sweet. Spin this down.
Although that'll be a little harder without actual PXG. Both of them have two new PXGs, but I'll tell you what, even with new PXG and two Billy Clubs, that's
some fine
you get a lot of mileage from the sidekicks. It can get you down to like 3 or 4 sidekicks left, but it's hard to get all the sidekicks out of your bag.
I do like that. That is good.
Put that though, because it'll give you masks that aren't sidekicks. So maybe Joe's just trying to get all his sidekicks
Pay
out
2
of
for Ring of Winter.
Make a lot of sense.
I will Red Dragon actually, and then buy Ring of Winter 1.
Buy anything this turn? I missed it.
What did Ben do?
I'll pay 1 to field the mimic, naming sidekicks.
Red Dragon global to buy Ring of Winter because he had 2 bolts, so he got a damage in, and then played a mimic targeting the sidekick, and then fielded a sidekick after that, so that he got some in the prep area. Meanwhile, Joe
Joe's got Billy
bought a Oracle.
Oracle's up.
Oh she came out too.
Plus the Oracle and unrezzed.
All right, Billy Club's up. I'm gonna go ahead and Billy Club your Mimic.
Okay.
I don't know.
Oh.
Okay.
That's
Was
the
it
problem
on
with
its?
Billy Club.
What side was it on it before?
Same face.
Okay. Field Oracle.
That's my point on the Billy Club there. It
will-
would have been better if he just rolled it for energy.
Let's see. I've got nothing bad.
It's great for clutch removal, but it's much more reliable as 2 pieces of energy than it is anything else.
Professor X.
Could have, made a bajillion sidekicks or whatever right now.
Yeah. My other team,
then-
as you can see a kitty peeking out from the board mat. But my other team, I depend on that Billy Club. What's that?
Spin this down.
Was that on Ben or?
No, it was on Joe's. It was a cat looking
I
up from the
missed it.
table. Yeah, I learned a lot from you just watching you in the first 2-team takedown and just having the right kind of setup for pushing through
What are
ramp
your
to
actions?
get going is just key.
Fighting and create food and water.
And
Yeah, especially with the sidekick combo.
You have the creative.
My 2-team takedown team was about
Yes.
lethal damage, but lethal damage was never anything that did real damage, right? It was just a bunch of little tiny
All right,
little
I
stuff.
will. Red Dragon Global.
yeah, I'll forever love that
pay 1
Spider-Man
for
combo
Fighting.
because I just think it's
What
so
color
amazing.
is it?
It doesn't matter.
turn
I
just-
have all of them at
Just
my
the
disposal.
Spider-Man.
Okay, well I'm gonna use
Um,
yellow.
Okay.
Spider-Man's just a way to make sure the damage gets through,
Yeah.
and good stats.
Well, I mean,
but
if you're using orange, then I can use orange. I have orange.
what Ben's doing is much more of a like a bard-like combo team,
Alright,
right? He's
so-
gonna
And then
clear
I'm
all the
going
sidekick
to-
blockers, and then he's gonna
Orange is just the closest
smash
thing I
in
have to
with
yellow.
with Red Dragon for a bajillion, right?
Oh, I'd
Yeah.
much rather match the actual color.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Oracle
fast
though,
forward.
she can
I will
she
make
can
a
block, so
sidekick.
he's gonna need a way to
Prep 2.
Push her,
Field
push
and
her out of the
it's-
way.
Faster.
he's got so much
Nothing in my bag.
um,
Roll everything.
hurting him with the Oracle tax. I honestly think the Oracle as a first purchase, even though it doesn't look like it does all that much, does amazing things against teams that need to make lots of heavy purchases that want to use a lot of globals.
Pay 6 for red eyes.
Would Ben
we're gonna win
purchasing
three.
an imprisoned here
Okay.
pretty soon make a lot of sense? Because I think that would help him out immensely.
It'd be buy imprisoned to counter oracles directly,
Oh,
right?
well,
but
yeah.
Joe hasn't bought
That was
anything
red. I'm
else.
sorry, I didn't notify that
Yeah.
either.
Is it better just to wait till he has more things out in the field to do that?
Well, I mean, the imprisoned minigame is always a good start,
Mhm.
but one of the things he doesn't want to
A whole
do
lot of nothing.
sidekicks because he wants those sidekicks to stay in circulation.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to capture the sidekicks. It's just
What's the wording on fighting say?
Sorry
Oh,
to say something.
that's right. Ben's combo is
Hey,
What does
I'm
fighting
trying to-
say?
I'm
fighting.
reading the wording of fighting.
So the way he'll get rid of
For
Oracle
each of
is
your character dice that are KO'd during the attack step.
attacks, his
I have
sidekicks will
KO'd
get
mine.
KO'd.
Okay.
Mm.
And then for every sidekick of his that's KO'd, his opponent has to KO something that's
I'm going
obviously
to
not a sidekick
reroll
because all
here.
sidekicks will be KO'd. Sidekick for one Oracle
Oh my
is
goodness.
basically the same as what Spider-Man does. He just does it with the action fighting.
Yeah.
The way Red Dragon is built, or I mean Red Eyes is right now, he's level 3, right? So that's let me just check his stats because I don't know offhand. It's 7, right? So 7 attack, and he gets 2 for each sidekick. So right now he's an 11 attack that if fighting comes up is threatening to smash in on Joe. Assuming like mimic to get another
Right,
7
Spin
damage.
this down. Get a sidekick.
His
Yeah.
red
Spin
eyes
this
for lethal.
down.
Basically, Ben has everything he needs for lethal. Joe has bought 1 defensive tool and 2 action dice, one that basically does nothing.
Yeah. Would he have been better off purchasing like a Green Devil mask? Or
Definitely been helpful because it would prevent too many sidekicks on your opponent's side from getting KO'd at the same time.
Mhm.
However, Because what's that yellow one? The yellow one is fighting. Is that what he bought?
Yeah.
Because of a bad purchase. So fighting actually doesn't do anything for Joe.
Fighting.
I think he's just trying to prevent Ben from having them all.
Oh, did Ben buy one actually?
I don't know. It's hard to tell what Ben has purchased and all that because he has the world's smallest map and playing surface.
Now that I think about it, I realize now that Joe bought the fighting, not Ben. So
yeah.
Buy a fighting next turn.
Pass turn.
He's forcing Ben to
if he plans on using it.
Yeah. Everything in my bag.
Which I mean, that's what Ben wants to buy next anyway.
Yeah. The only thing for I think it would have been better for Joe to if he could have been able to buy all the fightings by now, but
okay,
it may be too little, too late. I can't even tell what the.
I'd be able to Red Dragon and get a fighting just to get some more chip.
Yeah. And I love the versatility of Mimic because he can turn into your ramp. He's your ramp tool that can turn into a massive body just when your opponent pings him off.
A Red Dragon and buy a fighting, dealing you 1 damage.
Did you pay 2 for that?
Yeah, I did. I have 3.
So he just paid 3 to get a fighting because paying extra let him still do 1 damage, which is entirely worth it.
I'm gonna.
But it is one of those things that's like, hey, this is supposed to make it cheaper, but it actually doesn't, and then actually makes it more expensive, which is just.
It's silly, but Ben's into those kind of silly teams. Where
no, I mean it's not silly. It's Oracle's taxing him, right? So, but it's 1 less damage, right? And we already talked about how he's gonna when he hits with Red Dragon, right?
Yeah.
Red Eyes. So if slowly gets closer to 11, then all Ben has to do is hit for 11 plus the difference from like a Jubilee and a Mimic. 3 Jubilee, that's 11 plus 4 is 15, and his opponent is already at 18.
Spin him down.
He just needs to get 3 damage out of the Mimic somewhere. Or if he hits for 11 and then he mimics the Red Eyes and the Mimic hits for, that is again 18, which is what Joe is already at, right? So
and he's purchasing the Green Devil Mask.
It's a great way to prevent getting hit by too many sidekicks.
Yeah. And
even just Mimic, Red Dragon, Red Eyes, and kick attacking with fighting activated, Joe, because Joe still only has 1 non-sidekick character in play. So Joe needs to get actual characters. He's bought a ton of action dice.
And deals 1 to you.
Yep.
He really needs to get this.
For a Bard team, do you normally buy that many actions to start out with?
Then that's probably going to be enough.
Or you
the point of Bard is you buy a bunch of cheap control pieces. Look at this. So he's played fighting.
Right.
He attacked.
And then for each of my, so you have to KO 4 characters.
Yep.
And he gets plus 10 because 5 sidekicks were KO'd. So
17, to KO.
18.
5 sidekicks got KO'd. He gets plus 10. That's 17 damage on Red Eyes by itself. Plus 4 from Jubilee and 1 from Mimic.
That's game for Ben. Holy jeez.
Like I said, pretty insane combo.
Or not.
Good game, guys.
Mistake counts 20 million.
Why is that with 20 million?
It wasn't. That went pretty swimmingly for me.
If you do say so yourself.
Well, what can I say? I mean, when that team works, it works pretty well, huh?
And Ben, the way your team was swimming, it was sure to get somebody pregnant.
If the thing is, if you had get like Green Devil Mask out, I wouldn't be able to do anything. But
well,
you didn't have the energy. You had that one.
The turn where the 2 turns where fighting came up on its action side.
Yeah.
Turns that hurt me the most.
Yeah.
So that's actually the reason why, is because I missed those 2 rolls. I had 2 turns.
All right.
The 2 turns are pretty critical.
So let's look ahead to what
happened. It's just I
Play
couldn't do
next.
much about it. That's why I'm not beating myself up.
Looks like Joe's switching.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, if that team goes well,
Oh, Joe's going to switch too.
Yes, sir.
If it goes well,
Gonna-
it's quick and
Oh,
stop me.
that's pretty nasty. Joe's playing his beholder return cards to their card, or return dice to their card team,
which is kind of
which is super annoying unless global protection. And
here lately, I've seen him playing it more efficiently, to where he gets lethal within 4 or 5 turns. Before, I feel as though he was trying to go for the shenanigans more, but I feel as though now he's actually doing the combo and pushing through with as much damage as possible.
I had that observation early when we played, and gave him that advice. He figured out how to do it.
Yeah, I mean, our channel was all
That's where he was
against
just
each
like,
other with the shenanigan combo, and we are just like, Joe, swing.
Yep.
Exactly.
Partially because I know this team and it can go a lot faster. And if I get this win out of the way, it means we have a better match on the third game.
Joe's calling a shot like Babe.
Joe is 100% right. In this 2-team takedown format that we're playing, you should always switch teams if you lose the first match.
That was a good game though, Ben.
I didn't on mine.
Well, first of all, you should always play your weakest team first.
Yeah, I mean, you had perfect rolls.
Because if your weakest team is the win, then you can play your strong team in both the next 2 games.
Okay.
And then if your opponent plays a team, their strong team first, then you get 2 shots at taking down their weak team.
And it's not like you can.
Makes sense.
If your weak team goes down first, you're probably playing against your opponent, and then you should switch to your strong team to get a win, so that you're 1-1, right? If you lose, you should switch to your stronger team, and so that you're 1-1, so that at the very least it comes down to life.
Okay, let me pull up your team.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I felt as though I don't know.
I'll go first.
I'm not trying to sound defensive here, but I feel as though both my teams are equal in strength.
I will purchase.
They're not that great, but they're good.
Okay, but they're maybe weaker in matchups, right?
Yeah.
So whichever one of your teams is weaker in the matchup versus your opponent, not necessarily weaker in general.
Yeah.
But like comparatively to both. Like if one of my teams has a chance at beating both of your teams, and then one of my teams can only beat one of your teams, then I want to play the team that can only beat one of your teams first.
Yeah.
Guaranteed to be able to have a chance at both.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Unless it's you, and then you bring 2 solid good teams that are good against both teams.
So it looks like Ben. So they have the regular PXG. So they're saving energy for masks. And first thing was to buy a momentum, and then
he's gonna get the beholder out.
To buy a Yanti, and I assume save some energy to ramp. Oh, and feel the sidekick.
He's gonna rip over a beholder and momentum.
1 second. So
I believe, or Madam Mask.
Purchase. Roll.
I think Madam Mask is a better purchase.
Miss a bag.
His opponent buy a Yanti, and that's is it super rare Yanti? No, it's uncommon Yanti.
Yeah, he has the uncommon.
But the thing is uncommon Yanti can't be targeted by globals, so she can never be beholdered out.
Yeah. And then chalkboard her over.
But only when that ability is active, so he can.
So I get to draw 1.
Or while she's in the use pile. So now is kind of the best time to do it.
Rolling these up. Sweet.
You got exactly.
Pay the 1 to fielder on her level 3 side. She's a 4/4.
Joe broke ramp completely to do this.
Do you have resurrect? You don't have resurrection.
No. Okay. I have heist and shockwave.
I mean, he has a little bit of a ramp, but I still think he does this where he gets Madam Mask out before he gets beholder. But if he feels as though he can go fast with beholder and not worry about it, he goes beholder. I think the Madam Mask is actually a better purchase because he wants to get that Yanti out of there.
He can't now, right? Because now she's in the bag.
She's
not
on the side.
Bag yet.
And Ben doesn't have a way of putting her in the bag.
All right, I'm going to PXG.
Resurrection.
I don't believe
Pass
either
priority?
of them have res.
Yeah, no, you're right.
So 1 in the bag.
Ben does have Tabaxi Rogue. Or Joe. Hold on. Am I looking at the wrong one? No. Yeah. Ben has Tabaxi Rogue. He could have got her in the bag.
Yeah. Well, maybe his bag still has 1 in it.
Oh.
Right.
Makes sense. Can he rip? He can rip over a Beholder and do it.
But you know, sidekicks are really good in this matchup because you can't return them to the card.
Yeah.
So they're pretty good at blocking Beholder threats. So if he just gets his 8 sidekicks out, loses his PXG ramp, but Chris.
Did you buy a Tabaxi Rogue at any point?
No.
Okay.
Nothing. I have nothing in my bag.
Sweet.
Only way to get rid of the sidekicks would be magic missiles.
Blue Eyes White Dragon.
Okay.
Then I'm going to purchase a Beholder, and then I'm going to chalkboard it. Momentum on its no burst phase, so rolling out. All right.
Dangerous play.
Mask on our level 3 side, and Beholder on its level 1 side.
That's kind of ridiculous. He now has everything he needs.
Yeah.
So I'm going to.
I parallax shenanigans here, though.
Pay 1 to field him out of mask.
Okay.
Then I'm going to Beholder, and I'm going to parallax and your Tabaxi Rogue level. So parallax first is going to target.
He doesn't.
What all do you have in your use file right now? Yeah, I'll take the Yanti.
You mean Hella Global?
Hella Global, sorry. Hella Global is going to take the Yanti.
True. Okay, so he confused me there. So yeah, he's going to Hella the Yanti back. Like I said, the only time he can get her is when she's in the use pile.
Yeah.
And then
pass the turn.
Not parallaxing, which is what I was thinking.
And he also made it to where Ben is going to be completely behind with the Yanti now, because she's always going to be in the use pile.
Well, except Joe brings Rip Hunter, right? And so he just has to pay 3 for the Yanti to get her in the prep area. Then Joe can never get rid of her.
Yeah.
She goes from prep to reserve pool. And then he just has to use her to find lethal somehow, which becomes difficult at the rate that Beholder is going to start killing. But she can't be targeted by globals. And the only thing that Joe has to do against her is Merlin unblockable or just smash with Beholders.
Yeah.
And he can use Cube to basically attune her Madame Mask out and put pressure on Joe. Madame Mask in the field all the time. Yeah. So it's a solid plan if he can get it up and running.
Oh, Joe didn't get his momentum again.
Yeah, as much as Joe's team relies on momentum, I'm surprised he doesn't buy 2 of them.
Or all of them. They're 1, but I mean, he has a linear ramp that he needs to do, and he just kind of needed it to go right there.
The reason I say 2 of them is because you don't want to fill your bag up that much. Yeah. But Joe almost never puts anything actually in his bag except those momentums. Mm-hmm. So having 2 means you can get like 2 sidekicks out, and then you can probably get 2 momentums, 1 every other turn. Or
I guess we'll just spin this
having 3 just
another Beholder.
Makes your bag buying 3 momentums on a turn means you're almost entirely out of options of what you can buy, right?
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, he only wants to have that come up with no energy types. He doesn't ever want to have and a sidekick, right? That'd be 6 generic and a bolt.
Super awkward. So one time I was playing against Joe, and I did this thing where I hella globaled the 1 momentum that he had, and then purchased it, and I had all the momentums, and they were all in the bag, and he couldn't have them anymore.
Pass done.
he still beat me because it was super awkward. But
Top 3 action dice, and it made your bag super clunky.
Yeah.
But I mean, that is a way to slow him down if your ramp engine is. If you're PXGing for 1,000,000, having 3 momentums in the bag every turn is not a problem.
Yeah. All right, he's about to do some shenanigans with the Parallax and Beholder.
All right, well, he's determined to stay there.
I actually don't think it's that big of a deal that momentum didn't come up, because he's got the 2 Beholders that he kind of needs. I think it.
And he can always parallax the momentum too. So
true. When he goes to field that one, yeah, definitely. He just should
I'm
not
gonna
pay
1 out of this 2.
Never
generic.
mind.
He can just use the other generic to parallax.
But he can't parallax momentum
Blue Eyes
anymore.
White Dragon global, as well as chalkboard.
Okay.
Chalkboard to get another Beholder into prep, so that he can.
Field sidekick, spin him down, and
Generic, right? So you just place the question mark in the generic to get another Beholder.
A bolt, and another one.
Going for the Merlin.
That energy for a Merlin.
Yeah, and so he can just basically unblock the attack.
Wait, so you blue eyes and chalkboard, so it should be 3 now.
Yeah, there were 3 came out of this.
It's a 2. I thought you got the action. Okay, cool.
So Joe's board is looking kind of menacing right now.
We'll just pass.
Probably just PXG and pass the turn.
Yep.
He probably should have just PXG now because it doesn't matter later.
Yeah, I think people get caught up
question
in
mark gives him flexibility.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a way Ben can pressure his PXG anyway, right? Like
no, I don't think there is. I think players just get caught up in doing PXG on their opponent's turn. That's why they. Oh,
are you gonna try to cube me out here?
Yes, he is.
There would be any point in doing that when I can just do it to your face.
Yeah, no, I mean Ben can just win right now, right?
Yeah.
3 and then 5 and then 7 is 15
to your face. Second cube, which is 5, so that's 8.
Puts me down to 9.
Then he plays the next one. He's got 7.
Oh, yeah. And so the next one is 7. And how many blockers does Joe have?
Joe has 3.
Hang on. Say all that again. You're breaking up.
Can he pump them at all?
Hold on.
Yeah, I can't.
Well, you know what? He should just
do it
for the next cube to come around because it'll be lethal.
Okay, what did you say last?
Sorry, my internet just crapped out. So I did 3, then 5, then 7.
Okay, so I'm down to 2.
15 altogether. So you're down to 5 altogether. I haven't done any damage to you.
Oh, you've been dealing damage to me with the. Oh, okay. So 5, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was tracking the red damage from the last game.
Yeah.
He forgot to reset it.
I will.
Dragon or the red dragon damage from last game. But yeah, so 5 damage. I think Ben just like ramps crazy and waits for the next cube. And Joe's like, okay, well now I have to win before you play cube one more time.
All right.
Two more times.
Or that. For the 4th cube. And now
wait.
Definitely chalkboard over the last cube. Because then his bodies now Joe has to keep bodies on the field and his parallax shenanigans may leave him with not enough blockers.
And
so
got another Yanti, yeah. Wow.
Oh my goodness. Super good.
That's such a good play. Holy crap.
I know a ton.
That was Ben's.
One of your sidekicks.
Yeah, that's right. Like his Yanti with cube damage. I thought it would go slower than that, but
I have so much fun stuff in this.
Same turn was godly.
Did you hear him? He says, I just have such good things on this team, you know?
Yikes.
Ooh.
That's not good at all.
He needs that Merlin.
What does he need the Merlin for?
Here.
swing through.
He needs to do is just ping off all the sidekicks.
Wow. Okay. I guess we're doing this.
What's Joe's plan to win, right?
This is terrible.
I don't
14 damage on the board.
Mm-hmm. He could magic missile all the sidekicks.
I'm gonna spin this down, reroll both of these beholders.
Why?
All right, so one of them is at its 4/5/4. Let's spin this again, reroll this thing. All right, 1/6/5.
Things out of it.
I hate this. All right, so
mask.
I'm
Spend the
gonna
mask.
pay this mask to
okay.
this beholder, and I'm gonna parallax
and magic missile,
targeting one of your cubes.
Okay.
He's just planning on putting all the cubes back in the card.
Momentum as well.
Sorry. I knew you were gonna do that.
So the momentum's off the board now.
All right. Pay this one to parallax. First, I'm gonna parallax the one that's on an energy. Goes back. Parallax the one that's not on an energy. Okay, stays there. Same thing. Parallax Hella. Get your other cube.
He's gonna. Actually, the Merlin can't go over the thing because it's not in the use pile.
Because it's in the transition. Yeah.
Oh wow, they both go. That's cool too. All right, do this again.
Joe's gonna try to get rid of all of the
one more
things.
time.
Pretty good. Character faces.
One of them lands. So I'm gonna pay this last one. Field here. Parallax Hella. I'm targeting your last cube.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do the one that's on an energy. It goes to a 0 face. This one goes to an energy. Parallax Hella again on your Yanti that's in the prep area.
Yep.
Oh, Hella can work on things
So
in prep.
reroll that, stays in energy. Reroll this. It's in energy.
Oh.
Well, you know what? If I were him, I would just keep the energy.
I'm at 5.
Walker, his opponent would need to get 2 attackers. They would have to be 2 sidekicks, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna spend one more to reroll.
Wait, does Ben have blink?
Okay.
No.
So then I'm going to pay this one to field here, and I'm going to bolt one of your sidekicks. I'm going to magic missile one of your sidekicks.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to Professor X.
All right, sounds good. So he's got his ramp started, and he's got enough blockers. Oh, rough what he had to do, but he basically like unpurchased everything Ben's bought the whole game.
He drug himself out of the hole.
Pastor?
Now again, Ben has a chance of just rolling enough sidekicks to get lethal, right?
Yeah.
Did I get rid of all your cubes?
Yep.
He needs 4 sidekicks. Oh, he got 2 generic.
He did 2 burn damage to Ben.
It's actually good for Joe because Joe's window of requirement has reduced.
Yeah.
Rerolled everything for sidekicks. Ugh. Oh well.
He just needs sidekicks now, doesn't he?
What he wants to do is he wants to buy 3 cubes, and tabaxi them into his bag. Because you know his use pile's empty, he took burn damage. His bag, Joe can't mess with them.
Yeah. Did Ben freeze?
Awesome. Probably.
Yeah, I'll buy 3 cubes.
All right.
I'll tabaxi rogue level.
There it is. Joe's got to win this turn.
Well done.
The Yanti KO'd somehow, right?
Oh,
attack with enough things.
Let me resolve that Tabaxi Rogue Global first. Okay.
So the Tabaxi Rogue Global actually helps out Joe quite a bit too.
Come on.
He needs the beholder
right now.
Not really.
Okay,
like
that's man.
Extra guy, but there were 10 things in the bag, right?
Yeah. I think Joe just loses if he can't.
Freaking fantastic.
He's got to try to do all the shenanigans
Blockers.
just with one beholder.
I mean, he can still. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, there's no way he can get a momentum. He didn't get momentum, which because it got returned to the card, and he didn't get. So there's no way he can like
do anything
proactively. Yeah.
3 in the bag.
He's got no way of clearing Yanti right now, which is just devastating for him. He's got no way of gaining life, which would help.
Is that just one cube in your prep?
Yeah.
That uncommon Yanti is not thought of highly.
All right, I'll spin this down to a bolt,
good for a team
and then
like
I'll
this.
pay 6 to Hella your cube.
Okay.
So he got rid of one cube, which now means Bullen has to roll both cubes, or roll one cube, and those are the two winning combinations that Ben has to deal with, and he's only got 4 dice to do it.
Yeah,
I think I want to ping one of your sidekicks.
I would have held that for ramp.
No, Joe is eliminating one other out that Ben has. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
Holder next turn. So Ben has to land this cube to win the game.
There's also parallax though. That's the thing that's.
It is also parallax, but does Ben realize?
Oh, that's just it.
That's game.
Right.
Holy smokes, gentlemen, that was nutty. That
was some upper level stuff there, you guys.
What do you mean?
Like lots of mind games, right? Like Ben had to read what your team does and know exactly the right things to purchase and not buy anything else. And you were grabbing everything, all the Yantis as quickly as you could, but you missed just that one, right? And it got past your control, and that was the only thing that took you down.
Yeah,
like
I mean, this team
you had almost
has a bunch
of, except that Merlin missed, right?
Yeah. So I didn't buy the 3rd Beholder, which I should have. I think that would have actually helped me out.
Yeah, that's like on my Manticore team when I buy all the Chewingas, it's because I want that many more chances at bolts, and you want that many more chances when you parallax the Beholders. So yeah, no, I completely agree. It would have been a good choice.
What I actually should have done was there's a reason why I have the rare chalkboard in situations like this, is seeing him go for all that stuff. I should have kept it at 1 Beholder and bought a couple of Merlins and then started ramping into Grip Hunter's chalkboard so I can get that unblockable damage push.
Wait, what's the rare chalkboard do?
So it adds all the dice in your dice bag to your use pile, and then for each mask or shield, it gives your character +1 attack.
Nice.
And I could have prioritized putting the Beholders in there, and then just doubling up on Merlin, unblockable damage.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. There was a turn where you had 16 damage and missed a Merlin, right? And you had 4 bolts with which to ping out everything he had in his field.
Right.
Well, I mean, the big problem is that Yanti can't be targeted by that Hella.
That's the thing.
Global.
Yeah, I mean, or the magic missile.
Yeah. So like I couldn't hit him with the magic missile action, and I couldn't hit him with the Hella global, so I was kind of stuck. And on that turn that Merlin missed, that would have been an ideal turn because it would have forced him to block with the Yanti.
Yeah.
I mean, the turn where you took all of his cubes away was freaking hilarious and awesome.
Yeah.
And so that had to be done. I didn't have any other choice.
No.
No.
It was good.
It was the problem is he had ramped so hard that he ended up with an empty bag,
Yeah.
And so he was able to bag the rest of those cubes, which was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's good move for it. Yeah, I mean, that's the benefit of playing against Professor X, right?
Yeah.
Ben,
control the bag like that.
Ben, don't lie.
I mean,
you knew I was running. You knew I was going to run this combo, so you were like, "I'll just stick an uncommon Yanti, so that way I can't even get the fringe hit."
Oh yeah, I did it specifically for that.
Dude, Ben plays that for everyone.
Yeah. No, I know. It like gets everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's a catch-all, that uncommon. So
yeah,
it's tricky. Well, I don't really need the unblockable that. Like, it's a direct damage team, right? Like, my other team is a combat-oriented team, so this one is just a pure. And it has a bunch of fun stuff in it, but I mean, against that, I mean, if I'd gone for anything other than just spamming you with Cube and Yanti, it would have cost me too much time and energy.
Yeah, there was that turn with Merlin that I could have had you on the back foot, but the Merlin missed, and I prioritized getting rid of all those cubes.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I had enough bolts to ping out that Merlin, but it would have stopped my ramp, right? And then I wouldn't.
No, you couldn't have pinged out my Merlin because I had the Madam Mask.
Yeah, Madam Mask. That's true.
So it was a pivotal turn. I think that was and I'm losing your games to pivotal turns. That's why I'm not beating myself up about it, because the plays are really tight and good.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream here, gentlemen.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I'm buying 3 of my cubes is pretty good. Pretty impressive.
Okay, that's going to do it for us here at
CR
Gaming.
I think both of those games went really well to showcase kind of like higher level play.
Give a special
I'm really proud of myself for getting
Shadow,
that far.
thank you for commenting and being on in the commenting booth with me.
Sorry for talking a lot.
No, I mean, I like your insight, man. I like talking to you about that kind of stuff, so it's good.
Yeah, now we just have to watch this stream.
Are we going to go watch Ryan and Michaela?
Yeah, we are.
Promised my wife I was only going to do 2 games.
Yeah, I'm going to
go hang out with her.
You guys, who wants to commentate? Because I can step down if somebody wants to stay.
So somebody's got to record.
Yeah. Is anyone able to stream? Will we just be commentating into space?
Into space.
All right.
I'll see you guys over there.
All right. So be sure to like, subscribe, and follow us at CR Game Room.
If Joe can't commentate, then
I know Joe can't stream it.
Yeah.
I can't stream it, unfortunately. Sorry about that.
Or that's what I meant. Yeah. I'm not set up for it at all.
I could just set it up to where it just runs the live stream.
Wait,
No.